He does care. I mean, he really, but they're the type of TV that people have gotten away from a little bit. Their ratings have gotten really bad because there's just not that much crazy stuff going on.
Right. And it's the producers pushing
for the show and you know, I think Jason Grant went into it really good, and she went into her stuff with Naomie and very honest and open, wanted to help. But I think that stuff will just eventually go down because it gets crazy. She's pretty crazy. I mean, she's got some energy, and most of us do. I mean, you have to be little out there, or you can't deal with it. But Caputo's kind of kaput. She's kind of crazy. She's kind of crazy. She's fun. Whenever y'all can watch her, you should watch her because she is probably one of the better ones that you can watch out there. So, okay, hi. Hi. Sorry, we were talking about the ghost hunters and Long Island Medium and stuff like that. Let me just first start. Welcome you guys. And I was telling them a while ago that it's. I'm glad you're here. I just don't do large families anymore, large audiences, unless I'm doing the big dinners downstairs or something. But I know when I talked to Cassie that it wasn't going to happen at first, and then things just kind of happened. And I'm one of those. I've been doing this, like I said, for 30 years, and I'm one of those that if it's the sign that I got to do it, and that's fine. And when I was talking to her on the phone, I was telling you on the phone the first time a month or so ago. My big cue for this kind of stuff is if I talk to you on the phone and I'm already hearing stuff, there's a lot of stuff going on. And it doesn't necessarily mean that it's bad things. And like what I was saying to you a while ago, you know, there's the big communication highway out there. And when you guys watch these shows, like Tracy watching her stuff, you're watching these shows, you're seeing a snippet of what's going on in those big sessions because she's not always right. It's not about her being wrong. But she's hearing stuff that has something to do with the guy down the street, so there's going to be filtration of information in this stuff. What I try to do when I go into these sessions is look at a couple of different things. I have to say, you know, the day before I do these, I do my own little prayers and ask God for guidance and understanding of what needs to happen. And then I also know that these sessions are beneficial for people moving from point A to B. That the work that I do as a minister and as a life and spiritual coach, that if I'm going to do this work, it's real important. It's real important that you guys get something in your life out of it. It's great when Grandpa or Aunt and Uncle, Susie Q, whoever comes in or wants to pinpoint something specific in your life or a memory. That's a great thing, but it's taking it in your life and letting it have an impact in your life somehow, or letting it influence you a little bit. So that's why mine are a little different. You'll see most mediums have done this for a long time. This is how we operate. It's like, this is also about me. I'm not picking on people, but I'm going to pick on people and say, okay, you know, this is going on. What do you need to do? Because I'm hearing A, B, C, D. So it's not like I'm going to air all your dirty laundry in the middle of the room, but so I don't think I hear anything I'm not supposed to. So make sure you ask questions too, you guys. And this would be a fun but enlightening and moving thing. So if you came with questions, I told Cassie, if you have questions or anything specific you want to hear, or you want to talk to someone specific and they're just not sharing, then you just need to do that. It's not a big deal, if that makes any sense, okay? Last night, like I said before I went to bed, I was telling these a while ago, and I want you guys to each say your name, so I'll know, what was it, Denise? Yvette? Steve, oh, another male, see? You got one.
Thank goodness.
Tisha. And what was your name?
James.
James.
Teresa.
Okay. I won't remember all that, but it's okay.
Neither did
yeah. Last night I did my little preparatory thing that I do for these sessions, and I asked for anything specific, you know, just kind of like thanks for allowing us to be here in the space and share. And what I usually get, what most people get, just so you'll know, is they won't hear a full long sentence. They'll get, it's like getting little slideshow pictures in your head, or you get a word. And sometimes you'll get someone that's come in and just talk, and none of it means anything, but it's usually just a short word or phrase or sentence or an image or something in my head, so I know, you know, who I need to address. And I told them a while ago when I came in, I said, you know, I've been doing this a really long time, and you have a really talkative family. Very talkative, very, very nosy, very busy, nosy family in the afterlife. And that lends to tell me that you probably are as well. So that's okay. That's okay. But this is what happened, and I'm going to share this with you. I had gone into kind of a state in my sleep, and there I saw a couch sitting here and a couple of chairs sitting here, and there were people sitting. There was like 7 people sitting there, and I didn't know them. So I was assuming in that state this was some of your family and friends that had crossed over. And I basically just started allowing them to give me informations or ideas and shots of information. The number 8 kept coming up for some reason, and that can mean a lot of things, and you'll hear mediums say that. So that's either a birthday or a time of the month or an age of someone or something like that. That number came out of everybody down there. So that also tells me that August is a prevalent month. And if August is a prevalent month for you this year, so things need to change or transition, you might want to look at that. I didn't get it associated with one person or one energy that was there. The number 8 just kept coming up. And I told Cassie too this when I was talking to her the email. People get psychic amnesia when they're in these groups. Literally, it'll be something so important, and you're like, no, I don't have an idea. I mean, and then you'll leave, oh, that's what that was about. So make sure, this is why when you're in these, everything might not make sense to you, but it will. I mean, I've literally had someone say, does anyone have a relative that's a nun? Oh, no. Oh, yeah, they left and found, remember, oh, yeah, my aunt's a nun. I'm like, how do you forget something like that? So it won't make a lot of sense to you now, but just kind of think about it as I'm talking. This was a female that kept projecting the number 8 to me. Females usually, this female in this afterlife was extremely, let me find a good word for it, very poignant. In other words, she would have been more of the matriarch inside your family. She would have been a matriarch or grandmother or something in your family, and she was extremely aggressive about her energy. Not mean, I don't mean mean, but they were very poignant energies, or very strong energies, and she was that way. Everything seemed to flow through her during the time that I saw them. And it feels that way in here too. She's just very kind of structured, and her energy wants to push hard. It's so much around you too. It's really clearly around you. And this would have been a mother or a grandmother. But there feels like a split heart connection with this female, so that tells me there was a split emotions tied into the female. That can mean that sometimes we have 2 people that feel like mothers or to us, or we might have had an aunt or a next door neighbor or something like that. So your energy, and I have to tell you, I'm going to do this when you guys are in here because I can see colors around people. Energy will gravitate towards the person that needs to be addressed, and that's what's going on. And that energy is very split in your emotions. So that tells me there's a heart connection to this female, which would make sense. Everyone had a mom. So there's a heart connection to this female, but there's another heart connection to another female. And that can usually be another relative, like an aunt or something like that. So your heart feels a little emotionally torn up from that. I guess the message to you with this, more than anything else, with this female energy and why this 8 keeps getting directed to you, I'm not quite sure. It doesn't mean it can't apply to everybody else. You need to think about it. You need to think about what that means to you, because it's like a healing for you. It's your heart needing to heal. There's an idea of healing for your energy. And she feels, last night, and it feels like now with her, there's some retribution inside that. There's an idea of retribution. And that doesn't mean you. That means her. An idea of, like, should I or could I or did I do enough or should I have done enough? And when you get those kind of questions coming out, and I want you to understand that when we leave here, and of course this is my understanding, how I feel about it from my near-death experiences, is that, you know, we move into a different space. It's not like she's sitting there being the same person, but that energy gets very tied back to someone when there's unresolved emotion tied to it. So much of what I get around this for you is like a forgiveness issue, idea of forgiveness and letting go, and knowing that it's okay. You know, it's just okay. You don't have to feel this split or duality inside yourself. Whenever she presents herself, do you all know a Holly by any chance, or does anybody have a connection? Didn't mean to change real quickly, it came in. Holly, or anyone have I know this is going to sound stupid, a real strong connection with Christmas? Not everybody likes Christmas, but this would have been, and it could be her again, a strong, I keep seeing, smelling Holly or the name Holly. So if it's not a name of someone in your family, and I can smell that smell of Holly, then it's probably tied to Christmas normally. So think about it. It just came in real quick. I want to bring it up. So there's someone in the room or someone that's in y'all's space that had a huge love for Christmas or connection to Christmas or something about Christmas. Think about it. Back to this energy. Understand that whenever people present themselves or family present themselves, it's not like they want to force you to forgive them or let go. They just want you to be aware that they know that there's this emotional split within the self and that there's some healing that needs to take place. Does that make sense to you on some level?
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out who the mother figure is.
Vicky.
Yeah.
Her birthday's
It's a
in
mother
August.
figure.
Remember you got on and found all those
Her birthday was in August.
messages and you felt guilty?
Yeah.
Okay, so Vicky was,
My ex is from
okay.
her
She
aunt.
was older.
Okay, that makes sense. Well, that answers. Like I said, sometimes the information doesn't make sense, but it came from her directly, and it was 888. Everything was. She was very. I mean, sometimes it's just their way, so you'll figure out who it is. You know, I don't work with names really well anyway, and so much of that's tied back to healing for yourself and forgiveness. And that doesn't mean though the mother figure is not here, but like I said, this is someone else that's not your mother. That would have been someone that.
Ex-sister-in-law, sister type.
Okay, that's fine. And she'll probably pipe in anyway, again, because she's pretty, her personality is really strong. I'm trying to be nice.
That's true.
You know, it's not, I'm not gonna be disrespectful
That's
as a
true.
God, but she just
Well, I was
kind of a little
thinking
passive
mom's
aggressive,
the
you know, that energy's
child,
really.
isn't she?
I don't know.
That could be, that could be. All right, something else that came up, was with you. And I told Cassie this when I was on the phone with her the first time, and I know you're a little spooked out about the whole thing, but what came up when I was talking on the phone, immediately I said, who has the horses? And she goes, nobody has any horses. I said, yeah, they do. They have some little horses. Who has the horses? And she goes, oh, I think, and she said, that you've had little horses. I'm like, I don't know. Why are these little horses showing up, or the gift of little horses? And when I saw it last night, I saw these little horses, but there was a small boy with the little horses. And I remembered when I woke up, I went, oh, that's right. I remember the idea that I kept seeing these little miniature horses and then connected to a boy. The reason why I believe that that's come up, you have a father energy around you, you have not a father energy, you have a male energy around you that was projecting that energy over to me. And it doesn't mean that horses are important any longer. It was just their way of letting you know that they're watching or keeping an eye on things, or that they had something to do with the horse. Now, a father figure, just like a mother figure, they can come from different, you know that. I mean, we have people that are friends that are closer than our family sometimes. So this person feels very familiar to me. If they feel more like a friend, they're kinship on some level. So this could have been someone, it's to your right, so this could have been a friend or an uncle or someone like that. But if they're male, do you know who they are? Or anyone that would have been in your life when you were younger?
Yeah.
They would have died. I mean, someone's alive.
3 uncles that have passed.
Okay, so that's the friends to the right. Anything to our right is usually uncles and friends, and then over to behind is his father, mother, and things like that. Why is it so important that they keep bringing up these miniature horses? I'm not quite sure. But it seems to be the biggest image that keeps getting projected, and probably for you on some level, when I get stuff like this, it's for you to kind of remember aspects of yourself, aspects of childhood, aspects of things about you, because you have a really dark purple color around you, honestly, and that stuff's really powerful. It's really strong. It's like, it has nothing to do with size or stature or anything, but when you walk in a room, you walk in a room. I mean, your energy presents itself before your physical body presents itself. And when this kind of energy creates so easily around you, that means he's around y'all too, whenever he's around. I mean, he brings this kind of energy and life into the room. And even though, you know, it's hard when you're all the females that are in the room, it's different. It can be almost kind of intimidating on a certain level. But you have such a soft energy that's so not aggressive. It's not aggressive on any level whatsoever, but it's got a lot of power behind it. So think about who that might be. And like I said, it's an uncle or a friend or whoever to your side who keeps projecting this horse image. Why was that so important to you? Or why were these miniature horses? What was the deal with the miniature horses?
I did have a small pony
Okay.
on Christmas delivered to me by my grandfather,
Okay.
which he's still with us. But
Right.
and her name was Molly.
I
When
don't
you
know,
were
maybe it was
saying
Molly.
Holly,
Maybe it was
I
Molly.
didn't say anything, but I
Okay,
didn't.
maybe Molly. I could be wrong. I got the Ollie. I don't know. I just get. I got the Ollie. I got the Ollie.
It's the same
But I'm
house.
still holding to the Christmas thing. There's something going on with the Christmas thing, but the Ollie thing came up. It's a, you know what? You know, sometimes it's not. It's like, well, why is she talking about this? It was I got a horse. It was a pony. It was. It's something significant about it. And you know, sometimes you guys, this is about just knowing that they're around. If I'm hearing the information, then you know they're around you. If you have any doubt at all that they're around you, you know that they're around you. I would not know about your miniature horse or Molly if they weren't talking about it. It's not just information you just get for no reason whatsoever. So this isn't about big sublime messages coming in from the universe and changing your life for the rest of your life. It's knowing that someone's with us. And isn't that what most everybody's like, is it real? Is there really anyone with us? How do I know? They say we have spirit guides and our families are around. How am I ever going to know that? Well, obviously, it's something you sent out on an alert level. How do I know for sure? How do I know the things I'm watching on TV and stuff is real? We just got a clear message from someone who's a perfect stranger that that kind of information comes out so that you know that they are around you. I think for you, especially, the more I hear that energy buzzing around you and listen to them, is I think the big message for them is that you need to start moving in directions that you feel more confident about. And like I said, I'm not here to call people out or anything or change your life.
You mean just generalizing it, directions to be moved?
Yeah. Just be more confident about the direction. Are you kind of a jack of all trades type of energy? You could do a lot of little things. You could be doing, you could do anything. There's so many things. You're really smart, you're very engineering in your thinking, architectural in your sight, and you just have a very creative spirit. So those people can do a whole bunch of little things, but then they lose track of who and what they're really about, what their niche is. So that's the kind of the message that I'm getting, is that you need to start directing and focusing your energy. Don't think that you're not focused. I don't think that you can't get a handle on certain things. You just need to gather all that great energy together and push it in the direction that you want it to go in, and have the confidence to move in that direction. That's the big thing. I don't think you don't have any confidence, but I think it gets a little shaky. And that's the kind of information that I'm getting. And like I said, I'm going to do that. I mean, I'm not going to not share with you what, there's no reason for them to be here and share that information if it wasn't something you needed to hear. It's creative projects for you. Anything with a project is good for you. Anything you conduct and create and manifest. It's sort of like a mechanic, you know, seeing it spread out in 50 pieces, and then you know what it's going to look like at the end is very important. So, I mean, that's how you need to gear your energy. Do you have any questions around that, or does it make sense to you?
It does, certain points, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Mhm.
We'll think about it while you're sitting there. Think about it while you're sitting there. All right. Also, I got something to do with the heart. Someone dealing with a heart issue, not like you're going to have a heart attack, don't get me wrong, but it's very focused through here. It has nothing to do with age, you guys, because I'm going to get to you in a minute. And it has nothing to do with age, like, oh, they're older people who get heart problems. There's a definite issue with the heart. And when I saw this energy, he was holding his hand over his heart. So it doesn't mean that they necessarily died of a heart attack, but there's something to do with the heart. Do y'all know who it would be? I can feel them kind of holding that energy. Is that with you?
Maybe.
Let me think more about this. I also get, when I hold over the heart, stuff like military type things. Is this person in the military? Because I see the hand over the heart, but then at the same time he's got kind of, it looks like that military kind of uniform, kind of khaki or something, I don't know. Looks militaristic to me, what they're wearing. So the hand over the heart represents heart problems, and the way it was done seems respectful, like you would see like a military honor or something like that. He also feels very, things could have happened differently for this person. If they weren't so stubborn, they could have, it almost feels like a transplant. It almost feels like if they had done the things they should have done, they could have been here longer or something like that. But it's all shoulda, coulda, wouldas when it comes to certain people. Regardless, he feels very honored to be around here. For someone to keep doing that to me, they feel respectful of the space, feel very blessed to be here, you know that they're okay, but I keep getting the heart stuff. And the message back to you, I feel like it's you, would be watch what's going on with your body. You know, watch what's going on in your system. Pay attention to what you do. It's sort of like do as I say, not do as I do type of stuff, because I didn't, and so therefore, you know. So this person feels like they need to get your attention when it comes to that. You're not dying. Nothing like that. You're not so terrible in terrible shape that you're just whatever. But there is something going on, I would say, with your cardiovascular system. It feels, the more I look at him, it feels more in your head area to me than it does anywhere else. It's very strong in your head area. And I feel really hot in my head. So I watch for signs like that. I just watch for how I feel. He also turns to his side, or I see him kind of turn to his side, and I still get the handle of the heart. This is a very military, this person was very respectful of everything that has something to do with military, the United States or whatever, you know, very, very much. And when I saw him turn to the side with his hands still over his heart, he's got stuff off the back of his head. So when I see that kind of darkness over the back of the head, he's trying to send me a message that you've got something going on in your head area. I would never tell anybody stuff like that if I thought it was just so bad that, why are you sitting here? It's just information that you need to take to heart. You're not going to die from it, but please don't do what he did. Please don't, whatever that means, don't do what he did. You need to, and I think I'm catching you when you're already aware anyway. I'm not catching you going, no, not going to do it, not aware. You're really aware. I think you are aware of who you are and what you've got going on in your system, but you need to focus on that part of your body. And even when I look at your energy, you've got a lot of weakness on this right side, and your energy has a weakness which can project either way. I'm not projecting you've been hit upside the head or anything like that, but you've got more weakness on the right side, so something's compensating for one side or the other. Again, he keeps projecting the same image to me. I think on a cardiovascular level, you're pretty much okay, but most of it is concentrated up here in this part of the body. Also, he keeps grabbing his knees, so watch anything. That doesn't mean you have bad knees, it just means watch for structural stuff, like fibromyalgia type things. You know, sometimes our family members come in because either we're not getting it or not paying attention, but also for you to know that they're watching, you know, and that you can get that information from them and you can ask them for help. You know, it's not just me sitting here saying, oh, I find out that you've got this wrong with you and this. Utilize that energy. It's like handing them a football. You know, just sit there and close your eyes one night and say, all right, I recognize it, can you help me? That's what they're supposed to do. I mean, that's why they're there. They're not here just to give me a bunch of useless information. They're here to help you do what you need to do, and so you can connect with your guides or God, whatever you believe in. So that's where you're at. You're at a very pivotal point in your life right now. You're at a very pivotal point in your life of good stuff. It's a good thing that you're ready to move into a direction of happiness and peace. Because everything around you has a lot of grief. Everything around you has a lot of grief and sadness and loss. And it's not my thing, I'm not going to call all the things in that you've lost because you've got a lot of it around you. But his is the most prominent energy in your focus. And when you've had a lot of grief and you've had a lot of loss, sometimes, no matter what happens, if you don't find something important to come out of the loss of that person, then there was no reason for them to ever have been here to begin with. So you have to, as hard as it is, you have to go back into that moment and look at that moment and say, all right, I thank you for that and letting me be part of that, as hard as it is. We've all been there. But what can I get out of this? What really good thing can I get out of this? And if you've got someone kind of beating me down with the heart and the gut, it's like, pay attention. Just pay attention and be happy and be fruitful and have a great life. Stop grieving. But grieve. I mean, there's a big difference between grieving and then at one point when you release. We grieve for a long time. It takes a while to completely get okay and go through release. So I'm catching you when you're not at the beginning stage of grief, but you're still grieving. Your energy's still grieving a lot, but you're really strong. Super, super strong. You're kind of got this matriarchal stuff going on around you within the family. And your energy is very tied into it. For someone, are you not blood related?
Yeah, we are.
Are you sisters? What are
Us three.
That's
Four.
all four of you, right?
Yeah, the four of us.
Why is your energy separate from this? I don't want to start causing it to family now.
No,
But why is your energy separate away on a family level like that?
I guess because I left home real early.
Okay,
Right,
that's what it
right.
is, because it feels very separate. This feels in one space, you feel like you're in another space. And that's no one's fault. I mean, it's just something you chose to be on that level. And again, blood isn't everything. But maybe that's why I'm getting this reuniting in this idea of him really pushing this idea of getting support in your life, allowing support in your life. You need to allow that. You need to allow that to come in. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Who is this? Who is he?
The one about the heart and all that.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it was my dad probably
Right.
because,
I would think. I mean, that would have been my guess. But
and when you say up here, I was told that if I don't quit smoking, I'm a stroke waiting to happen. That's what the doctor said.
Yep. You're a stroke waiting to happen.
What are you
That's
doing?
what I just told you to. So it's, no one can do it but you. And you will. You'll do it. You'll make the change you need to make. You're ready. And it's like anything else. You have to be ready. It doesn't matter what anyone else says. You have to be ready. Well, just know that he's, really helping you understand that and to make sure that you allow the support in your family to be there. Sometimes we don't like being told what to do. That's usually how to love when our family starts telling us what to do. It's like, all right, I'll do it. But you'll have support, which is good. Makes sense. So if that's coming through for you on this level, then that could be some of the stuff that's tied back to you guys. Now, I do want to address something. Oh, I forgot your name.
Tisha.
Tisha. And how long, what's your connection inside the family?
My sister, my aunt, my mom.
Okay.
It depends on who.
Okay, well, I don't know. I mean, they don't come and say that's aunt, that's sister's mom.
Yeah.
For someone who's really quiet, not really quiet, but sits back and is not really, is the observer, you're the skeptic in the room. Your energy's a skeptic in the room. And I have to call you out
Okay.
because I've waited to call you out. Because I'm going to get to these guys, but I needed to call you out.
Okay.
And no, it's okay for me too. But I know it when I know it. It's like anything else. Walks like a duck, talks like a duck. It's exactly when they're doing this.
Right.
Go and talk to her because she doesn't understand. This is not about you needing to understand this process at all, or understanding why things are the way they are at all. Because you're very analytical. It's who you are. You're so yellow, it's not even funny. Your energy's all yellow. So that's an intellect. That's someone that processes. That's an analytical person. I get that because I have a scientific background too. I'm a counselor. I mean, I understand that part of it. You have to have, if you don't have your analytical self when it comes to understanding spirituality, you can't work with this stuff at all. So for you, it's a lot of textbook stuff. Your energy's all about the textbook. What you read, what you see is what is real. And which is kind of interesting for someone who I think saw a lot of stuff as a child, or understood stuff as a child, that now you're trying to move out the other direction just to kind of move away from it. Because it's almost like if your feet got into the middle of it and you started seeing and visualizing again, because you're really creative, then things would just kind of blow open for you. This is your year. This is your year. You're supposed to take over and do things in your life and really create. That's just one of the biggest messages I wanted to give to you. It's a creative year for you. Do whatever it is. You make a great entrepreneur, your own business, anything you want to do on a creative level is the big thing you need to hear. That's one of the reasons why you're here. As much as you might have been a skeptic and you want to sink off into the background, you're not going to get away that easy, because that was the big message for you is self-confidence and creativeness this year. Are you thinking of moving at all, or doing a change, or traveling, or anything like that? Because that's real indicated for you to do this summer. So think about doing that. Anything you can do to kind of venture out and create for yourself right now is probably a really good idea. Not everybody has time. There's timing with everything, and it's just a timing thing for you right now. So think about it. Think about anything you can do. I wouldn't even think about it until at least June, though. Anytime after June, that'd be a good time frame for you. Make sense? Just, you will.
I don't know. Yeah.
Not scared of clowns, are you? I saved that.
Yeah.
You are.
Yeah.
I saved
Just a
that.
little bit. I mean, not like
You used to be.
no.
I'm sorry. I
Not
had to pull the card. They're over here just talking away about you and your creative stuff. Just scared of clowns. Talking about the clowns. Like, oh, and I wrote it down. Clowns. I wrote it down, clowns, a while ago, because I kept seeing it. And every time I was scanning the room, it kept popping up behind you. And I'm sitting here trying to be nice and give you this stuff about it. And I don't mean to laugh at you. But sometimes when you get the skeptic in the room, they'll give me the most important, one of the projected image that they know that there's no reason for me to know, so that you know. And it's not for you to become enlightened and change your mind about the world or mediums or people like me that do spiritual counseling. It's just so you'll know.
I should do work at McDonald's.
That
Wow.
could be- I just kept seeing these different clowns, but they were all around you. And it's not to teach you, but sometimes they'd like to throw a snippet just so you know that they know, and that there is some reality to this, and that I needed to project that back to you so you'd see it. Not to, there's no clowns. So I'm like, do I have one I could pull out? No, I don't
I'm not scared of them like that.
Yeah, but
Just-
come around it.
Yeah.
I don't see anyone else.
No, it's just, it's,
No one else in the room.
it's an issue, the movie It, that just scared me.
Yeah, that's what I was just
Me
thinking
to
of too.
death,
It's
so.
interesting. That was the one I was sitting there thinking, oh, it reminds me of that clown in It.
She's reading your
Well, when
mind.
she had worked at McDonald's, she was the party clown. She had to dress as the clown and be the
Oh,
party.
you know that psychoamnesia thing I was just talking about? Really?
She hated that costume.
Remember me calling you this, Cassie, on the psychic amnesia thing? Here we go. You know anything about clowns? No, not really. I'm kind of scared. You ever a clown, really?
Mom did dress us up like clowns.
All right, let me take that one off my list. Who told that one? Just know that for you right now, on a real honest level and sincere level, that this is your year for opening things up. I needed to see that for you so that you know that there messages come when they need to. You need to listen. Just pay attention, do a little meditation, prayer, whatever you believe in. You're very evolved. You have a really old soul. You're very old for your age. And when you have an old soul like that, you sometimes know more than everybody else, or at least you think you do.
So listen to me more.
Yeah, well, yeah, you too. So, I mean, just kind of pay attention to the messages. Be intuitive, is what I'm saying. Be real intuitive with your decisions this year. Don't second guess any of it. Move forward really fast with your decisions, okay? All right, now I got clowns off the list. We talked about her. I forgot your name.
Steve.
I'm saving you guys for last, you know that, right?
I'm good.
Something I want to bring up with you, and I don't know why it's directed to you. You don't do any electrical work or anything, do you?
Not
No.
professional.
What's the electrical problems? Have you guys noticed anything like lights going off, or
The thing at the shop.
what's going on with electrical problems, and
Just
why is it
about
around
every-
you?
Huh?
Why is it around you, the electrical problems? I mean, I hear it, but it gets really loud around him.
Everything electrical seems to be breaking in our lives.
Everything.
Everything I touch.
Okay, okay. It's around you.
Tend to tool man did.
That'll work. Okay. I was hearing, like I said, they come in phrases, or I'll get words and snippets, and then I just kind of wait for it to kind of plant somewhere. And electrical problems kept getting focused on you, which would be around both of you. That's not for me to scare you and say, oh, there's going to be a big fire. That's not why I was getting it. I believe that it came up because there's an energy that's creating that. But it's around you. It's probably both of you, but it's around you. So this would tell me that this person or this energy that has crossed over is trying to get your attention that way. I also, as odd as this is going to seem, just like the clowns, I get an Indian around you as well. I get something Native American around you. It doesn't have to be an Indian per se, but I get Native American, earth-based energies, very earth, animal connected energy for you. Now, how that has to do with electrical stuff, it just tells me there's some guideship or someone around you that's connected, that's a very earth-based energy. It could be a father, it could be an uncle. I'm not going to, call anything particular out, but it feels Native American to me. I have to say that it does feel that way to me. This could be someone a couple of generations back, but what's the Native American, the earth energy, the Native American stuff that's around you too? Do you know what it is? Or does it ring a bell for
Does
you?
someone have to be passed away?
No, not necessarily. It just feels, I just can feel them around you. I can feel them. Most of the time they're passed away, but they're not that prominent to me. I just needed to bring it up. It's sort of like the clown thing. It's this Native American presence that I feel around you in energy. And what I think this has to do with your electrical problems is like signs almost to me. I watch for signs. And if it's connected to you and you're turning on a light, electrical's going on, bulbs are blowing out, this is going on, that's usually a high volume of energy. That means somebody's in your presence. Energy is energy, you guys. Just on the law of physics level, energy is energy. It's why it drains batteries and phones when they bring in the room. They have to use the ectoplasm in the room that's connected to humans to manifest. So that's why electrical problems happen, not all the time. So kind of keep an eye out. I want you to make sure there's not other problems going on, because it was a very prominent thing that I wrote on here. It's electrical problems. I wrote it strictly on here. So it's important. It's either someone trying to get a message to you to beware or watch for someone in your presence, and then I got the Native American energy attached to it. So either that person, there could be an issue with them, maybe someone in your family is trying to warn you that's crossed over. Kind of just pay attention to it. I would just kind of go in my house and say, all right, you know, what's the deal? Tell me. You especially are really good intuitively and psychically. So you pick up stuff really quickly. So you should be able to pick up on this and know what it is.
I already have.
You should know what it is. It feels like trouble to me, but I don't want you to freak out because he'll go check all the wires and stuff. Not like the house is going to burn down. Nothing like that's going to happen. But it's a message. It's a warning. It's a warning. And it's tied back to this person or some situation.
There's been a lot of electrical problems, but probably the biggest one recently was the water heater in our trailer shorted out and electrified the fence.
At my work,
Nice.
for 2 days, and we did not,
Nice.
until it shocked him.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, there's been a lot of other stuff too, but.
What do you think it's connected to? I think you know what it is. That's just what I
His
hear.
grandfather was a foreman
Yeah,
for the electric company,
Oh,
he was a lineman.
and I've got Native Indian, 3 times Native Indian, and
okay. He's like,
I see what you're saying. No, I get
See
it.
what I'm saying?
It's like
Well, I was
Yeah,
focused
yeah,
on the
yeah.
Native American.
I know, well, why is the
that
Native
doesn't-
American stuff coming up?
that
Why?
don't
And maybe I'm
confuse
misrepresenting.
The land.
Grandma Bennett and great,
I think I've got a little bit of Indian in
You
me,
do.
but
I know you do. I can't.
most of us.
I don't
Yeah, most
know.
people do. I guess.
Yeah.
But it's why it's strong with you. It's probably a connection you need to make with yourself. It's not, again, I don't have to sit here and tell you what you do personally in your life. I will 100% tell you electrical problems are a problem, and it's somebody that's crossed over that's trying to communicate with you. And if your father was a
My
yeah,
grandfather.
your grandfather, chances are it would, that's what I'm saying. It's not gonna
Very
need
possible.
then it probably is him trying to connect with you. And this is how he gets your attention. It could be very easily you just sit down, all right, what's up? What's going, what are you trying to warn me about? Is there a problem in the house I need to know about? I don't need to worry that much, but he could have already been warning you, and it could have kept the heat from going out. I don't know, but pay attention. You're a very grounded person. You're super grounded. I mean, you are in the ground, feet dug in, grounded person. It's who you are. You balance her out that way. Seriously, because she's just out there in the atmosphere somewhere. And you're more grounded. You're more grounded. And when you have that, which is great, it might sound like it doesn't go together, but it goes together really well. But you both have your responsibilities inside that relationship. So if she's out there making all the connections and your electrical's going off, we know your grandfather was electrical. There's a message here. And because you're the grounded person in the family or in this aspect of this relationship, then it's your kind of responsibility to sit down and go, well, it's my family member trying to connect to me. I need to listen, and then you probably will translate what it is. There's something going on that you need to pay attention to. You need to reground yourself, probably reconnect with the earth, take camping trips, do fishing, whatever it is for you to be connected. Yeah, I did not give him permission to go do that, by the way. I was not giving him permission to leave. No.
Fishing.
And it's maybe something both of you need to do. I don't know, but the electrical problem is, like I said, a big thing I wrote on my list. There was an energy form trying to connect with you guys and get a message to you. And your father, I have to say, I don't get that he's Native American because that's probably separate, that's tied to you, you're a lot like him on so many levels, and I get that, but there's so much of you that's not like him. And for someone who came from a family or your father did electrical work, you're so creative, and there's a lot of creative people in here. You're just real creative. You have a lot of dark green colors around you. And those type of people work well with their hands. They work well. They see, like the mechanic I was talking about, they see how things need to be created. And maybe it's just about you kind of seeing that inside yourself on some level. And that's probably his way of saying, it's okay, everything's all right, I am here still, what do you need from me? Just to ask. You don't have to believe in everything, just to ask. Because there's just no way I would get these kind of things and him be a point and not be what the message is, that you need to connect with him on a certain level, okay? So just kind of pay attention. I'll probably talk more about it here in a minute because he's very evasive for someone who wasn't evasive. Does that make sense? I mean, for someone, he's just quiet to me. He's just a quiet energy, keeping to himself. Doesn't have to share anything. Doesn't make a big deal out of anything. But just kind of needs to stand in the corner.
That's the way he was in real
You know, and he just doesn't. I expected him. Oh, sorry, I didn't bring this up. Last night, he was the one last night, sorry, I had to talk about it, that when I was talking to them on the couch, I know this is going to sound weird to everybody else, not that everything else
It's
doesn't,
okay.
I was offering peanuts to people. And he was the only one, I know it had to be your father now.
Grandfather.
Grandfather, keep wanting to make him your father, your grandfather that would take them, would take these nuts, I think they were peanuts. And I asked him, what, he goes, yeah, I can eat them or I don't have to. I don't have to do anything I don't want to do anymore. You know, he was just very, but he was the only one that would communicate with me. I had to tell you that. I don't know why it's even important now, but I just remembered it, that vision in my sleep going, why is he the only one? I don't know. Anyway, so kind of think about that. You know, it's his way of letting you know he's around, but he was very quiet. He was actually kind of a tiny man who wouldn't kind of project himself in the middle of the room. He was the quietest one of the group. He was just just to himself, like this was no big deal, but I still want to make the connection. And so that would tell me too that he probably taught you some things too growing up, that he was probably influential in your life on a real positive level as far as certain things. So not that our fathers can't be, but sometimes grandfathers and grandmothers come across more often.
Well, my father's still alive, so.
That's probably why. I didn't see him at all. They agree, he's not dead.
Huh?
Didn't he tell you to?
Yeah, my father is an electrician and he even teaches electricity, but he's still alive, but.
Okay, well still.
Electricity.
Electrical, yeah. Okay, anyway, I'm not going to say anymore. Anyway. But anyway, so pay attention to Grandpa. Pay attention to what you do on your leisure time. Make sure you guys are taking a course like that. You know, make sure you're doing things that you enjoy, but let it be just a little bit of a warning. Something's going on. And I don't want you paranoid though. I don't want you worried about the house catching on fire. But I just get it as a warning. Pay attention. Sit down and talk to him. You channel. You'll hear it. You'll hear it, what it's connected to. I know you can do it. And let her kind of feed you back that information. You might want to smudge your house. Do you guys know how to do that?
I was actually gonna go smudge their house.
That's just what the Native Americans, I mean, it's kind of this mix going on, so I know they're separate, but I smelled the smudge. The Native American stuff came back up, and I heard they need to smudge their house. Something needs to happen to clean the energy up a little bit, because it just feels like something not right. Something just doesn't feel right. So smudge the inside, smudge the outside, do a blessing, just clean the energy up a little bit, kind of talk to the grandpa, see what he's saying, but the Native American stuff is really strong aspect around you. So it's around all you guys, actually. So pay attention to it. Any questions about that? Did you have any questions about it?
Not really.
Anything informational? Okay.
Not that I can think of.
All right.
Sure I will.
I got the Indian off the list. No, I'm just kidding. All right. Is there a... That was two. I did write down I can eat or not. That was your grandfather. Does anybody have I don't know how to even word it because I'm not sure. Is it a burial site or someone was cremated or are you thinking of moving anybody, moving a site or creating a site or a memorial or something like that? Is anybody thinking of doing that?
I had considered it.
Okay, what are you thinking of doing? Because I'm supposed to address that issue.
I had someone that was buried, and he's been buried 35 years, and I at one time thought about, he still don't have a stone,
Okay,
and I've always wanted to get the stone. And
you need to do that. What I saw, I heard the word move first, and then I heard the word site. And all I saw was there was no headstone, and they just didn't. They're at rest. Don't think there's like this huge like, oh, I'm not, because you don't have a stone on my headstone. I don't care about that, but it's important to the person I was hearing it about. That you need, there's a memorial or something that needs to happen for this person because it'll make you feel better. Who is it for?
my son.
Your son. Okay, that's the male, the younger male. Remember the younger male I was asking about earlier? Okay, that's who that is. You need to do this. It's not a big deal to them, it's a big deal to you. It's not, if it doesn't happen, that's fine, but you need to do it. You need to do that. And did he die in an accident? Or what was the bloodletting? What was the, I hate to use those graphic words, I'm sorry. What was the coagulation issue or the blood issue?
Blood,
How did he die?
fire.
That's a coagulation issue. That's the clotting that I'm seeing. Because that happens when you burn. Okay. All right. He's got a strong connection with animals. I'll get to you guys, really. We're running over, I'll get to you. There's a strong, this is some of the earth stuff I'm getting. When I see coagulation in the blood, or festering up to the top, that's I wouldn't have known that was Brenda. That would make sense that it's a Brenda. It doesn't matter how he went. He's a risk taker. I mean, this energy is a risk taker. This is not somebody afraid to walk that line. And when you have some kind of a personality like that, when they move on, they operate on that level. They're always the last one to come in. They're always the last one to pipe in and say something because they're the observer. He reminds me of you a lot, by the way. Don't know why. Don't know why I'm getting that connection because I know you're not connected. But he reminds me of him. And that is not holding you accountable for anything. But why he keeps directing over to him, I don't know why. He does. I mean, there's something similar here. There's some familiarity here, either in the personality or kindness or the way he is. Just the way, there's something in that connection. You'll have an animal connection too. Not that you have a million animals around you, but when I see animals and earth-based energies around people that have gone on, that means they have a very earth-based connection, sort of like what you guys had. So maybe that's the familiarity. I don't know why he keeps directing to him. Do you know what it is? Do you have an idea? Okay. I want you to think about it.
I do.
Do you feel like you're similar people?
Well, he was the type of kid that he could play with others and get along, but he preferred just to sit by himself and play.
Okay.
He would talk and just, he would, you know,
Right.
either way, you know, he could amuse himself and he was kind of quiet and type.
Well, I want you to open up to him a little bit. I could talk to you about that later. There's something there. He would have not. This is this whole thing with the getting your attention, saying it's okay to move aside, but why he needs to direct over to him all the time. Not that he's not connected.
Oh my God, I got the chills.
Oh my God, we all
Do you know what
figured
it
it out.
is?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that,
Tell
but I
it.
didn't want to say
I'm
it.
not saying nothing.
Before you even tell me, before you even tell me,
That's why I didn't say nothing.
before you even tell me, before you even tell me,
Just going.
call them. Actually, how old was he when he died?
3 years and 7 months to the day.
Yeah, okay. Go ahead, tell me now. He's so around you, like sitting in your lap next to you and around you. I was like, well, he's really little because he wouldn't be able to sit in your presence. There's a strong connection to you. What's his connection?
In the funeral business.
Oh,
And you're saying no.
move it. He needs you to do this.
Now
Wow.
I get it.
Yeah. Because it was
So-
move side. Move
We all
side,
got it
and
at
I
the
knew
same
it was
time.
cemetery.
I didn't say anything, I didn't know.
I didn't get it till this
I
moment.
didn't
And he
want to
kept
say
wanting to
anything.
come sit over here. And I was like, what you want? What are you doing? And it just didn't make any sense to me whatsoever. But you are similar to him. You're very similar to him.
Really.
What's the birth difference in age?
In age, I'm fixing to be 30 in May.
How old would he be?
Must he would be right now 38.
8.
Or no, wait, 39. 39. He'll be 30, 48 next year.
Oh, sorry.
39. He would be 39.
Okay, I'm gonna leave that alone. Yeah, that's the connection. That's why you just kept referring to him, and moving aside. He doesn't need you to do this for him, but you need to do it for you. There's something that needs to happen with that side. Y'all need to make sure this happens. And it's not about him not being at peace. You know, children actually can go quicker than anybody else. They move on pretty quick, for the most part. But this seems to be that peace and grief issue I was talking about. This is holding you up. These little things like this, which is a big deal, holding up, and you have something to do with it. You need to figure out what this is going to be. I hate to put that on your shoulders, but now it is. Y'all need to coordinate this somehow, figure it out as a family, and make that happen. Whatever, it's either moving him or making a memorial for him. And when did he die? What day? Do you remember?
July 11th, 1978.
Okay. All right. That's why the summer stuff's coming up. So there's probably something to memorialize around his time of death. Something needs to happen. A new stone. Whatever works for you. It can be tiny. It can be big. It can be whatever you want it to do. But make it happen. Make it happen. Sorry. And you keep going back and make it happen. You came into their life for a reason. This is one of them. This is one of them. You're the child animal gatherer of things. That's what you do. And things like that gravitate towards you. And You know, this is why I was asking you a while ago, why is your energy so earth connected? Why are you so connected to the ground and so connected to the earth? This is why you're so connected. There's a peace about you. And things gather around you, children. And I mean, you just have that peace about you. And this is one of the reasons you came into this family. This is one very important reason why you came into this
Same
family.
for all animals.
Yeah, that and animals. That and animals. I mean, it's just part of the energy. This was an important part, and you guys do what you need to do with it, you know, whatever as a family you want to do.
Even the animal thing made sense too.
Yeah, that's the
Because-
connection between the two of you, the animal stuff. His stuff around you is real strong with animals, so, yeah, strong connection with animals for him. It's a good thing, he's at peace, there's no issue here. I mean, this is just, you know, I have to make everybody feel better, and I'm tired of we're dealing with it. Let's go on, let's move on, let's have some fun stuff happen. All right. I'd say the best for last.
Comes
I'm
over
just
here
kidding.
and laughs. I don't like
She
this.
keeps looking over here and laughing.
Well, this is the thing about you two. You're very, like I think I told you a while ago. I told her too. I mean, you guys are kind of the gatherers. You're the mover and the shakers. You get things going where they need to go, whether people like it or not. You know, you're just really like, this is what we're doing, this is what I'm doing, that. And you know, Cassie put this thing together, and I'm gonna get to you in a minute too. But at the same time, some people are just the gatherers. They're the ones that bring people together so that the information can happen and that people can get the information that they need that's really important. It doesn't mean you're not important. It means that you hold energy very strong. You both do. I'm not saying you're exactly alike or anything, but you hold energy really strongly. You play off each other really well. Your energy plays off each other really well. And every time I try and, you know, like his grandfather coming in, and all this stuff's coming in, everybody seems to come through this part of the room when they talk or when their energy moves. They come right through your energy. And you got to feel that at some point or another. You can't not feel that. So that tells me you already are two people that have a level of awareness on a psychic level and on a medium level. This is not anything new for you. You either do this on a nightly basis, or you think about it on a daily basis, or you do it for a living. One or the other. Because your energy is not new to you at all. This energy is not even new to you. It's almost just kind of every day, this is just how things are. So it's not going to be as exciting, I think, on some levels, because you're intuitive enough that you guys understand stuff. And you understand what has to happen. And as much as Cassie was the one that kind of got this started, so much of who the two of you, I'll separate you off here in a minute, but the two of you are very in tune. You're just super in tune with higher energy or spiritual energy. You have a great connection to spirit. And I think for you, though, especially, the old fears that you used to have, and the old fears into shoulda, coulda, wouldas, have really started to move away from you. You have, as much as Dad's been around here, and the mother figure and the grandmother's figures, your stuff's very much at peace. Your energy, you just have a great insight. You have really good insight. Y'all have good insight, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was giving you that little.
Thanks.
We'll never hear the last of it.
I'll
No,
never
you're
hear the
gonna
end of
laugh.
it.
I know. It's great insight, but you don't turn it towards yourself. You do this, but there's always a but, right? You do great insight. You're very good, like doing this. You could do platform work. You could do this. You really could do this, but you don't turn it towards yourself. You don't look for that insight for yourself. You don't sit, you know, people do prayers for other people all the time, and I get that, but at some point you got to sit down and turn that towards yourself and ask for things. Your energy and this other female energy that's around, and this might be all tied together, you're all sisters and stuff, so I'm not going to say it's not the same one. It's so much more welcoming to other energies. It doesn't have to be family for you. You know, you're more wanting to hear about your spirit guides and what that energy means to you and how it means. Not that family's not important, but that's not what's around you. You know, everybody else has been they've heard what they needed to hear. Your stuff is more spiritual-based information. You're really trying to make some decisions and turns in your life. Your energy's trying to turn in different directions and understandings. And when that happens, you've got to open up to higher things. Not that everybody else doesn't have their angels and guides and stuff like that, but your stuff's real poignant that way. It's very much in that what I call Buddha state of life, where you need to have your own moment. You need to have that moment where you go, I got it. I hear it and I got it. You're kind of already there, you just aren't listening. You just aren't listening. It's like you see so much and you have such great insight, but you're missing some of the messages that are coming to you. Do you write? Do any writing at all? the creative stuff, you need to be writing. It's like automatic writing or channeling.
Oh,
You need to be writing and getting information that way.
I write down dreams.
That's probably right.
Probably whacked out though.
Well, I just think that your sight's there. It's all there, but you overanalyze it and you overthink it. You don't give it time to simmer a little bit. And most of the information I get around you is very much like that. Not that we can talk about family if you want, but and they're important to her. Don't get me wrong, but it's not important to you right now. If you're needing a message from a family member, what I'm hearing is messages from your guides. I don't get stuff from your family members. I think it's a moot point at this point. That everything I'm hearing around you is tied back to your guideship. You've had since you were a child. I mean, I really think that you've had this insight since you were little. Well, I think everybody probably knew that, and you too. I mean, I think you both have this, you all do. It's not like just one does over the other, but it's kind of where you're sitting right now. Your energy's sitting at needing to have information, and I can give you some stuff to do with that. Because you're really sitting there. Do you feel that? I mean, do you feel like you just
My
almost
mind's
bring...
going and spinning in circles right now.
I see that. I see that. I mean, you're very analytical right now. You gotta stop thinking.
Stop thinking. That's hard for me.
You gotta stop. I mean, it's the only way you're gonna clear your mind long enough for your guideship to talk to you. You also have, now where do you live at? Indiana. And you live?
Texas.
You live here, right. You also, both of you, I guess you would know this morning thing, and I'm going to address you last, is that if y'all been in their lives long enough, you know that they have abilities on a certain level. I mean, she does too. You're a very strong channel. That's what you do. You're really good at it. You can sit down and channel. And if you do, and would spend some time on it, you would be great. But you hear stuff intuitively all the time, and your energy is really good at it. Whereas you're the teacher. I mean, your energy is very connected to what needs to be taught, what needs to be taught back to people. Your energy wants to keep everybody in tune with everything. You want to teach. Here, read about that. Now, did you Google that? Read about this. And read about that. And I was like, what's that? Well, read about that and go and Google. You know, okay. You know, so that's great. And that's informative for everyone. So I keep hearing the word teacher around you. Your guideship and family are saying, she's a teacher, she's a teacher, she's a teacher. At some point, you become a student. And so at this point, it's not worrying about what everybody else knows anymore. It's you stepping back and finding your niche, your spiritual niche, because it's out there. It's really strong around you. You both get a lot of telepathic or telekinetic messages. You're very telepathic. Very telepathic. It's like trying to... honestly, it's hard to explain to anybody else, and you are too, so don't smile about it.
No, I'm agreeing, I know.
You're both, these two right here are less like constantly talking when they're not even talking. And if you were me, it would give you a headache, because it's just constant telepathy. It's like you guys will know what each other's saying before you say it. And it's not that everybody, it's like, why is that important, Naomie? The reason why I'm pulling you two out is because hers is the telekinetic energy. You're telekinetic. You can have telepathic energy too. And it doesn't mean you two aren't, but this is where they're focused right now. You move things. You make, like, the whole electrical thing in your house, you guys help conduit that energy to make it happen. It's not like it happens on its own. So you have your own thing going over there. You have the same thing going on. But your stuff's more objects are getting moved around your house. I can hear stuff slamming, doors slamming, things happening in the middle of the night that you might not hear, but it wakes you up. It'll wake your energy up. So you have that very aggressive, coned energy that just makes things happen. And it gets tied to a spirit guide, then poof, then you have telekinetic energy, telepathic energy, and all kinds of buzzy things are happening. You might be calling your sister, say, hey, what's going on? You know, it's like, I was just thinking. So you guys have that interconnection going very strongly. Yours is just a little separate because it feels more telekinetic. Are you familiar with what that is or what it does?
Not really.
Well, it's the ability to make things happen. It's the ability to make things move when it doesn't want to move.
Objects?
Objects and people. I mean, you can create and make people do things that they didn't even know they needed to do.
In a mental capacity.
Yeah, in a mental capacity.
Yeah, that kind of makes a little sense.
Yeah,
for
you
some
do
people.
that a lot. Whereas their stuff's more telepathic as far as communication goes with each other. My big message back to you, and this again is the female energy that was around you earlier, and some of the, you know, collective idea was that you have got to sit on your path this year. You've got to look at who you are as a teacher. Why that word keeps, you teach before? So why is it coming up? You come across to people as the teacher and, you know, kind of point it that way. You've got to step back away from that role, and you've got to start working on your own stuff. You've got to sit and stop reading. Stop reading. I just heard that word. I hate to tell you that. Just stop reading. Stop reading the books. Stop reading about the information. Stop collecting data. That's your biggest message from your guys. Stop collecting data. You've got a lot of data, this weight of data in your head, and none of it's getting used. You can read all day long, but you know what you know. Now you got to put it into action. You need to start either meditating, going to a group, stuff like that. You've got to start focusing on all that knowledge you have, because I see books and books and books and books and books and books and books. I got a book, you want it? I'll sell you a book all day long. I mean, but really.
These books, everybody wants them, I'm like, no, they're mine.
You just start sharing. But I'm not a big believer that you have to read about it to understand it. You know, honestly, I'm just that way. I think it's easier, more objective not to read it and then go and read it after you figure it out. So all I see are all these books around you, and they're just rereading, and I literally, no offense, I wasn't being disrespectful. They said, stop reading. Put the books down. Stop reading. Start using the knowledge that you have. Don't walk around in fear. Because the minute you do that, you don't give yourself honor and respect for the knowledge that you have spiritually. So meditation is going to be real important, I'm hearing around you, that you're trying, but you're not focused.
Right, that's so true.
And not to make this a big meditation class or anything, but that's everything about you, guideship-wise, that's all my information. I can't not tell you what I hear. So you're meditating, but you're not. And your meditation, you guys, is not like you sit there and clear your mind and nothing else comes in your mind. We're in a Western society. We're not transcendental meditators. We're not from the East. So when you're meditating and you think about, I didn't go pick the clothes in the dryer, that is what's supposed to happen. Because as your conscious mind lets go, so your subconscious can come up, all the things you forgot about are supposed to come into your head. So it's actually a good sign when those things come in. That means you are meditating. Just let them float by. It's a sign that the subconscious is coming in, the conscious mind's releasing whenever you meditate. So you're doing it right, you're just not giving yourself a lot of accreditation for what you're doing. So when it comes to meditation, play music or listen to a guided meditation for you, because you get analytical, will help you stay focused. Get a candle and stare at it as long as you can without losing your focus. Just do little things like that will get your energy going in the direction you can. Because you're supposed to be writing. You're supposed to be writing, getting things written down. And I see you writing, and the dreams and all that stuff is just kind of chaotic feeling. Put the books away. I'm sorry. I mean, nothing wrong with them. I don't want you to get rid of your books. You can go back to them for reference, but right now just put them away. Put them away, and all that stuff, your knowledge that you have, start using it. People like you. They like you as a healer and a teacher. You come across that way. How to utilize it, okay?
Okay.
Okay, everyone book this week? No. Nothing on spirituality you can't. Nothing on spirituality you can't.
Don't read anything spiritually?
Not for right now.
Spiritually? Okay.
You got my card, you can email me. I'll talk to you about it. I can send you in some directions
Okay.
that you need to go. I can send you in the directions that you need to go without reading. You need to cut the apron strings with the books. Start working. Okay, we can do that. All right, let me finish up with you too. You know, so much of your telepathic stuff too is tied back into ideas of what you need to do. You're just more free-flowing. You know, you both are like this. You're both more free-flowing with your energy. There's nothing that's serious about you. There's just nothing serious about either one of you. And I have to dress you together for whatever reason.
Because we created all this.
There's just nothing, you're serious, but you're not. I mean, you're just, not that you don't have your moments of intensity and where you get intense and angry, or you have your moments, but you're just nothing, you have such a child view of things. You have a childlike view on things. And when you have that, not that you're not adults, you don't have important things that happen, when you have a childlike view of things, it makes things happen like this. It just does. You create all the time. It's always let's get together. You know, it's like having a family reunion. This is like a family reunion. And that's what I hear. I hear someone around you, whoever is talking, I'm not even going to ask who it is anymore, family reunion. I hear family reunion, and you two are going to be in charge of that. That needs to happen pretty quick. Are y'all thinking of doing it this summer?
I want to talk. We just had one last weekend.
Oh, okay.
We want to talk to the guy.
This is the guy I was probably talking about earlier. Yeah, there's a male that keeps presenting their energy between the two of you. And it's either someone you both knew or is around you or something like that. Now what I do like about, what I do like and what I don't like. What I do like about this energy is they're very, very aggressive. You know, they're very like, make it happen, let's do it. Sort of like very dictative, you know, just like, did you dot your I's and cross your T's? Did you build this? You do that? It's like, great, that's wonderful. It's good in the big scheme of things, but they get a little pushy. You know, their energy pushes people to do things, and you kind of channel that energy right out. The problem I have with this energy is they don't feel resolved. They don't feel resolved. They're awful bossy and know-it-all for someone that's not very resolved. And when you have an energy, and I mentioned him at the last because it's sort of like standing in line somewhere and someone cuts in line. And you're like, excuse me. Well, that's kind of who he is. It's like, no, you can wait and talk at the end because it has to do with how his energy hasn't transitioned. His energy has not transitioned. And he feels like he wants to do more than he should at this point. It just feels too pushy. It feels unresolved, and it feels like there's something going on, there's some secret around him. There's a secret around him, and it feels, I want to like him, but I'm having issues with liking him. He just doesn't, he's got some secrets around him, and he's not letting them go, and he's not letting them reveal. I mean, I like him as an energy, but it's like, why now are you holding on to these secrets? I mean, why not just let it go, tell him, talk about it? And he just, it's stubborn enough, his energy's stubborn enough that he holds on to his secrets. And that's around his death, and it's around some people that are involved in his death. Now, it's not like I sat back here going, I'm going to save this juicy junk for last. But he's just too aggressive and too unresolved to be part of the beginning stuff, where it would have been hard to see him and this. You know, they get in there and energy gets all muddled down. He's not resolved. His death's not resolved. There's a secret around it. There's two people that are around this secret of his death. I know you want this resolved on some level or another, but I'm not so sure that it will be. He just feels lost to me. His energy feels lost, like he's not even been found, maybe. He feels lost. His energy just feels really lost to me. There's a female with him. There's a female energy around him, not with him like it's dead, but there's a female energy associated with his energy. Not one of you guys, somebody else. And there's a male energy around that as well. There's a male energy and a female energy associated with him as well. Those people would still be alive. Now, it's almost like they know these secrets, or someone knows these secrets, and no one's revealing them. And it feels tied back to all three of them. How did he die?
We're not sure what you're talking about, but I have a feeling.
I think it's Johnny.
Yeah,
Okay.
Johnny.
Probably. How did he die?
It says so.
Okay.
They say.
Supposedly.
No, he didn't.
And
No, he didn't.
they all been questioned.
No, he didn't. And this is the thing, I have to say, and when you have, I don't say stuff like that to say stuff like that. I'm never, ever going to do that. Now, when he said, no, I didn't, how do we know that part of him isn't not holding himself accountable for what he's done? Because this is the thing, it's all death no matter how you do it. If you can die of a heart attack, you can kill yourself, whatever. I'm not taking life lightly, but when you go, it's your time to go. But there's some secret around that death. Now, it's like it's both. It's like it's suicide, but it's also at the hand of other people.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like someone talking someone into killing themselves. That's what it feels like. It's like he did do it, but he didn't do it. Like someone said, this would be a great idea. I think you should do this. Try it. Whatever. You might die. Who cares? Well, I want to die anyway. Now, don't get me wrong. This is a guy that was in passive suicide anyway. This was someone who didn't want to be here and had other reasons for you to feel sorry for him why he shouldn't be here. But at the same time, so he allowed the influence. Don't get me wrong. He allowed the influence. But at the same time, this is at the hand of somebody else. This is somebody else's fault. Is it making sense to you? Mm-hmm. I'm trying not to direct this energy to her because I don't want her too upset about it. But
That's why we're here.
he killed himself, but he didn't kill himself. And I can't not let go of that. So he did do the action, but he was pushed to that action.
Maybe on a mental capacity?
Yes. He was pushed to doing what he did.
That makes sense.
And these people are still walking around.
Yeah, that makes plenty of sense.
I need to reassure you that they're holding on to that a little bit. They know the guilt's there.
Okay.
This isn't like,
Good.
we had nothing to do. It's like, oh my God. I can feel, I can hear it. You know?
I feel better.
I don't feel like they're like, oh, this is funny and this is silly.
Right.
I feel the grief within them.
That's good.
I feel the
Karma.
grief within them. It's karma.
Right.
It's karma. It needed to channel. You brought him in. You guys brought him in, not her. And it had nothing to do with you not you being skeptical. I just needed to hold on to it because you needed to place your energy in here. You need to get your energy placed in here, but they needed to bring the ones that bring the energy in. I would say at this point that he isn't resolved, but he knows. And he needs to hold himself accountable. But this is not me saying we need to find these people and they need to, they're holding themselves accountable. They really are. I'm not saying to give them that space, but they're holding themselves accountable. And they feel bad, and they're grieving, and they feel guilty, and I don't think they're the worst people in the world or anything like that. But everything's about atonement. When they leave, there'll be atonement for that. I mean, they'll go to hell, but they'll have to deal with feeling how you guys all felt at the moment of losing someone. So they'll pay for that part. What I'm dealing with is him, and him not accepting his own responsibility for what he did, and him not taking his responsibility for the choices that he made, even before this time he left. He's been close before. So this is not his first little brush with death. This is not his first brush with death. This is like number 3. I can see 3. Are you clear with that? One of them was a car accident, or some type of accident.
Got ran over.
Okay. When I said car accident, I went to look for him in a car. I was like, oh no. So there was an accident with a car somehow. He escaped that.
Oh, yeah.
And then there was something when he was really little. Something was wrong with him when he was really little. I don't know what that was. He was like 4. I don't know what that was. Maybe we get mixed up.
Something comes to my mind.
Something happened when he was little. Anyway, and so if I see this and then this, there was probably 5 or 6 things that probably happened, but none of it matters. The accident was one that stood out. At this point, I believe that you two are probably the best channelers to help him understand this dynamic and help him work through this. And I know that sounds weird. How do you help people work through stuff to go on? But he's kind of got a leg in and a leg out. He's just kind of here, but he's not here. He's extremely pushy. Like I said, I really want to like the guy, but he's really irritating. But it's because he's confused. He's just confused.
It was his humor.
He's this likable, don't want to like person, you know. You don't have to like him a lot, and he kicks you off. And so he needs to get it. I mean, he just needs to get it. And the only way that's going to happen is if I can help him, and I get that. But I think it's you too for some reason, not you, you too. You are too emotional about it. You're too connected to it. You're too connected to him in the heart. And when you're connected to someone in the heart, like you're connected, you got your own forgiveness to deal with. You know, you get dealing with you letting go, and I don't think you sit every day thinking about how to forgive yourself. This is nothing you have any control over whatsoever. None whatsoever. You're analytical enough to where you try to get him to think and think and think and process these things. Couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. You're kind of that, just like in your relationship, you guys have those big differences and sways and differences, and it's the same thing here. Opposites are great. Opposites are great. I love it. If he lives through it. But it's the adventure, right? It's the adventure. You gotta have the adventure. Gotta have the adventure. So you're very opposite, and I know you really try to get through his energy, or he calls his thick skull. I mean, I know you tried to do that on some level, so emotionally, you just gotta let go. There's no forgiveness here. You just need to let go. Because the more you let go, he's gonna get to let go. You know, but you are allowed to be mad and angry and grieve, and that's the stage I'm kind of getting you in. You haven't gotten pissed off enough. You need to be mad at him. You need to be angry, mad. You have a right to be angry. And that helps him go, oh, I guess I kind of screwed up. Yeah, he did. But it's okay. He's gone. He'll move to light. He'll move to his light when he needs to. He's not right now. I can tell you that. No way. He's very physical. He's like super physical. And when you see something, you can feel him next to you, or brushing next to you, or you see him out of the corner of your eye. It's an energy. It smells, everything. So I want you to think about with him. And this is the thing with him, with energy in particular, and we'll go back to the shows and seeing things. Most energy, 90% of stuff that you see is repeating energy anyway. It's like if I sit in this chair for the next 10 years and I get up and leave and I die, you're going to walk in this room and see me one day. It's an energy emanation. It's really scientific. Our energy is thermal and electrical. It stays where it is. And this is a small percentage of most of the energy you see is real energy, like this, disembodied energy. But it has to have your ectoplasm and your energy, which is the energy closest to your body, to manifest itself. So he's using you. He has to use you to create, like he's done today. He has to, and that's normal. He can't just jump in a room or show up as an orb, which he does a lot. You know, he can't do that unless he utilizes. Now, if he's already, as I see in orb form, that orbs are just energy. This is not how an energy looks when it's not in a physical room. An orb shows up because that's just what manifests electrically. You know, that's what manifests. He's really weak emanation. His energy is really weak. So the emanations aren't going to be strong around him. But he utilizes the two of you to manifest, because you talk about him a lot. So when he gets talked about, it gives him a reason to stay connected here.
I knew it.
So you have to, she doesn't like that, you have to bring some peace to him. And that's the saging. Do you have a jacket of his or something? Or a shirt? Or something?
No, you didn't just say that.
Do you?
The one you
Who has it?
I do. His umpire shirt.
Is it got a little, oh, is that what the little something on the shirt?
patch.
Patch, is that what that is?
It's not a patch anymore. I pulled it out to look at it.
Is there something blue on it?
It is blue.
Oh, okay, that's it.
It is a
I see, he showed me his blue shirt, and y'all didn't bury him with it, did you?
No.
Yeah. There's the blue shirt, maybe old patch, whatever was on there. And the minute I started talking about releasing, letting go, that shirt's going to need to be let go of. What you need to do, this goes back to sort of like the stuff you're talking about with your son. There has to be some memorial. There has to be, he needs to know his way out, but you can't allow him to let you do all the work. You can't let him, I'm just going to sit here and y'all just do all the work. No. You need to bring in his family that have crossed over. He's a mother or a mother figure around him. It's not a mother, never mind. It's a grandmother or further out aunt or something. He's got family around him, and he's just doing this. This is so much more fun. This would be what he would do anyway, wouldn't he? This is just easier. I'm just trying to call him out. I mean, it's just not, we're not going to do this. So y'all have to make that agreement. We're not doing this anymore for you. You need to go on, whatever you need to do. The shirt came up because it needs to be released on certain levels. Either burn it, or do a memorial with it, and release it with him. I guess he wanted to be buried in it. I don't know. So he's attached to it somehow. I don't know. I don't know. He's attached. He brought up the blue shirt. Now, like I said, sometimes they bring up stuff just so you know it's him, and you understand that the minute I saw it, I saw that it needed to be released. So something needs to happen with the
Maybe
shirt.
it help her let go.
And it could be. It could
Maybe give it to someone else.
No. I know you guys want me to tell you that, but I'm not going to tell you that.
We'll talk
When
about
I hear
that.
memorial, y'all can make a memorial out of it. You can make a memorial, find a box, put some things in it, because I see cards or papers. Did he collect anything? Did he have anything else that y'all found, little knickknacks or anything like that? Anything you have of his that is connected to him on an energy level that you keep in your space needs to come out of your space and into a memorial. That's what we're supposed to do. Put a little box of flowers or whatever is in there, put stuff in it, and that's a memorial to him. Done, close the box, and go on. And then at some point, you guys need to smudge. Wherever you're living, it needs to be smudged really bad. Yours is bad, hers is really bad. Why don't you do this? Sorry. Why don't you do this stuff? This is what you're good at. The smudging, and just because you're like Switzerland. I mean, you're neutral. I mean, your energy is very neutral. It's very like you can do it, not smile about it or get upset about it. I mean, you're just very neutral with your energy. You're really good at this stuff. It could be because of what you do, but I mean, you would be the perfect person to walk in a situation, not get emotional about it, and just go, all right, let's smudge, get this guy out of here. Let's go. Let's get going. You need to participate in this. This is your niche. This is your niche. So the room needs to get smudged. Your house needs to get smudged very unemotionally. That's why I keep pointing to you. The house needs to be smudged. You need to talk to him. Say it's okay to go on. Who do you need here? He's noisy. He makes noises. He's active. That's just what he is. That's why I kept getting all this directed towards you guys, because of the telepathic stuff and the telekinetic stuff that you guys do. So you've heard him, you've seen him, all the messages are coming through. It's time for him to go. He's not wanting to let go. He's still trying to hold them accountable, these people accountable a little bit, and he needs to get over it. They'll get held accountable. I don't think you guys need to go to the police or anything like that, because he literally did it, but he didn't do it. Okay, so I don't know, I feel like they feel guilty. Do y'all feel that way at all?
Yes.
It'll
They
come
feel
back to
guilty. It'll come back to them. They participated.
That's
So-
what we think.
What do you think their role was in this?
Well,
He
to
was-
me, the story, as the way I was told, is he hung an electrical cord, two of them tied together to the rafters,
I ain't heard that one.
to the rafters of his trailer, and hung himself. But it sat there for 3 days, and he threatened to hang himself. And I guess,
That's not the presence I'm thinking she's talking about. She said a male and a female figure, and he was
No.
living with Phil.
he was living
He
with
was
the
living
lady.
with Phil and
Bonnie
Beverly
Adams.
over there, and he called them. He said, "It's okay, Beverly's taking care of me," is what he would tell Grandma, because he considered them more like friends, real close friends.
His second mother.
Oh, you know who I'm
Okay.
talking
He
about?
had
When he
threatened
was,
to kill himself 3 days
And he
before
didn't
he
do that.
actually did it.
Got it.
And so me thinking that
That's
she had a
not what
part,
we figured.
that's what I was told by Mom.
But Mom,
That's
that's
the
not
story she told.
Huh,
Yeah.
I think Mom might have been confused,
Man.
because that's not what she told me. She told me something different.
me and her read his death certificate, and he did some drugs, but
Yeah, there's drugs.
You mean
definitely.
autopsy,
the autopsy,
There's definitely.
and they found downers, which he never ever did.
barbiturates in
Barbiturates.
his system.
And he never did that. He did.
But I think
We
he did.
figured somebody,
No,
we
I
We
figured
think maybe
somebody
somebody put it in
Yeah.
there.
Well,
gave it
yeah.
to him or talked him into taking it, and he got depressed. He was on drugs, but they
There's
found,
definitely drugs involved.
and we know he did crack and coke and stuff, but he wouldn't have, being a crack addict, he wouldn't have took your life knowing you had $36 in
He
your
had
wallet,
money left in his
and he
wallet.
still had money in his wallet. So if he was really thinking, knowing him the way we do, he would have said, "To heck with it, I'm gonna go ahead and spend the rest of my money and get high, and then I'll do it." And
Kind of.
that's what we
You know,
think,
I've
knowing
been around a
him.
lot of suicide. I mean, more than I even want to think about.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot of rationalization going on when you're going to do that. You don't think about those things. I mean, you really don't. You don't. If you're in that mindset, you don't think about the money. You don't. It's such an instant thought, and it goes so quick, and it happens so fast. There's usually not a lot of planning. Even if he was saying he was going to do it for a few days, there was not intention probably until the very last moment. And that's what these people are involved with, knowing that he probably was going to do this and didn't take him seriously.
Well, see, she told us that she found him asleep, passed out on the bed with a rope 3 days before that. And then she didn't call nobody or say anything to anybody.
Yeah.
And then 3 days later, he did it again, but he really did it.
Well, this is the attention getting thing, like
Yeah.
he's still doing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still that I need to get the attention to do
But
what I
she
need to
was
do.
fixing to leave it.
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, yeah, it's all in his own hand. I don't get any doubt at all about that.
Right.
But at the same time, and those people will, I mean, I just think he needs to, at this point, electrical again keeps coming up. I mean, this could be some of that tied back to that, why you're getting the electrical stuff at your house. All of it's kind of getting tied together with family, trying to get you messages. Something's not right, something's wrong, what's going on. You see how it's all tying together? He needs to get crossed over, bottom line. He needs to get crossed over. The smudging needs to happen in all the homes. All that energy needs to take place so that you guys can get him to go on and do what he needs to do. He's not settled. He's just not, how long has he been gone?
15 years.
He's not settled. And I mean, that sounds outrageous, but there's no time frame. You know, on the energy level, there's no time frame. It's milliseconds. I mean, there's.
Well, we just barely started talking about it again last year.
That's probably why it
There
came
was
up.
also supposed to be a suicide note, and all of a sudden there wasn't one. She told my mom that there was a suicide note.
But we ain't yet to see
I
that.
don't see that.
My mom said there was no suicide note. Now, I don't know if my mom kept the note and did not tell us about it because of fear of what was maybe said in it, or maybe there just wasn't really
I don't see
a
one.
suicide
And
note.
I'm not ever 100% right, or maybe it just doesn't matter if he didn't want you to know. I don't see the note. Doesn't mean it didn't happen. And karmically, it might not matter for you guys. It's between mom and him, and you know that could be. I can usually pinpoint something like that. I just don't see it. I'm looking pretty hard. I don't hear it from him either. I think that for him, what's going to need to happen, and this could be why collectively you guys all came together, the stuff with animals and saging, and someone that can do this a little more unemotionally attached is going to be a collective effort. You know, you've got, this issue needs to be dealt with, and it needs to actually be the priority. He does not, that's why I didn't allow it to happen in the beginning, because this is a priority. And it won't take a big deal to do this, but there's things that need to be done, finished, and get it over with. He's one of those things, but it shouldn't be a priority, because that's kind of what he wants. Okay, but at this point, y'all have to know, you know what happened. You know exactly what happened. It's just time for him to get his proverbial act together and move on, and that's why you guys got involved with it to begin with, because you know how to do it. You know what to do. You can cross him over. You can get him to go over. It's just going to take a little work. And convince him that he can't be here anymore. He likes being here.
He don't listen very well though.
No.
He's stubborn.
Stubborn, like you said.
Very stubborn, very hard-headed. But you have to walk around him a little bit. You're going to have to go around him, do a work around. You're going to have to call in energy. You're going to have to call in his family and stuff to bring him out.
Is it important for them to go to the light? I mean, it
Yeah,
is.
it's extremely important. I mean, you know, I've seen everything. So, I mean, it doesn't mean that he couldn't be here for another 100 years wandering around like he is. I've seen people, we used to do this group called Gardening of the Green, where there's like 6 of us would get together and we would help, you know, if anyone needed help, whatever. I've literally physically seen someone walk in a room, actually it was a nurse, this one incident comes to mind, in the 60s that died in a car accident on the way to her shift, and she never knew she had died. She was still going to her shift. Every moment, she literally walked in the room, walked right towards in, it was like, it's just as like you guys were sitting there. She never even realized that she had died. And it took that moment 50 years later to sit down, or 40 years later, to sit down and say, you know, you're dead, pretty much. And I'm like, no, what? You know, it's so unbelievable for people to believe that, but that's just what happens at that moment, especially with accidents can happen.
So is that what our brother's wanting us to do, is to help him go? Are we holding him back, or is he holding himself back?
I think you hold him back when you give it a lot of energy. I mean, you just need to get him, you just gotta let him know that, well, of course you do. You just gotta say, this is the reality. He's not at peace. And you don't want to be miserable, it's being hung in limbo.
He was the clown of the family.
There's
The only clown she liked.
More clowns, it could be the clown reference came up too.
That's the only one she liked.
Would it mean that we would lose, like, our touch?
No, you get better, it gets better, it makes it
If
easier.
he crosses over, we'd still have the little signs and...
Absolutely.
Because they're on the lower level right now.
Yeah, you're exactly right. It's a different level, it's too aggressive and it's too intense. You don't want this, you want this easeful.
So he's sad?
It's not sad.
No?
He's just confused.
Okay.
It just doesn't feel resolved. It's why the word keeps, I'm not resolved, I'm not resolved. You know, you guys need to know that someone had their hands in it, it wasn't their fault. Maybe they should have, but they're paying their atonement. He needs to know that y'all know that and that you're not holding anyone accountable any longer.
Maybe he brought us all here.
He needs y'all to know that. You need to do that. For you,
That's what we've been thinking about.
y'all need to do it for you first. Stop holding yourself accountable and them and say he's responsible. You're responsible for what you've done. Are you ready to be at peace? You've got to sit down and have a conversation with him. He'll go. I think he just needs the jig's up kind of thing. The jig's up.
Yeah.
So he'll figure it out. He's like, okay. It'll work together. It's why all these other things, like the electrical stuff in your house, and they're not related,
They
but
could
his
be.
grandfather, I mean,
Well,
think
he
about all
lived
the
with me
relations.
for a while,
Mhm.
and our house is always power surging.
You know, so I mean, you gotta think of all the connections that everything happened, and then your connection with this as well on a family level is big. You know, you're definitely the peacemaker inside this energy. So, as much as you don't want,
I know that,
you got it now.
when you brought up the electric, and it may not have nothing to do, but it makes me feel like he might be warning, or somebody is, because my son died in an electrical fire.
A lot of that
It was
is
electrical.
Isn't that interesting?
It was the neighbors in her apartment.
Electrical fire. He hung himself with electrical
No,
cord.
this,
No.
my son
No,
that
that's
died in the
her son.
fire,
Right.
Her baby.
that was also electrical.
That's what I'm saying.
And then, yeah.
And he hung himself with an electrical cord.
Extension cord, yeah.
Electrical problem. Yeah, I mean, it's,
Well, Mom's got a lot of electricity in her body, her makes her watches go
that's the stuff I was asking about,
Yeah.
people blowing out bulbs and stuff,
I
and
can't
turn on
wear,
lights.
I can't wear.
I can't wear a watch either, I blow them out.
Yeah.
That
They
means,
stop.
that's
They
what tells
literally
me
just
you're
stop.
you're a good channel, that you receive real well, real fast.
No wonder she knew everything I did when I was little.
Oh, yeah.
Tape recorded everything
Oh,
they did.
You gotta
How
know.
long do you gotta be quiet though to channel?
Oh.
I've been sitting here real quiet
She
for a
has been
long
very
time.
quiet. She just high-fived him.
Aw.
Tried.
Kind of air high-five.
Air-
Air high-five.
I'm gonna high five him, all right.
All right, questions, you guys. I mean, I don't want to leave you hanging with this either, and I know you're around here anyway, Chelsea.
Well, we come here, me and her basically come almost every month, when they have
Yeah, and
this.
I'm not usually at the fairs
Yeah.
anymore. Not that I'm too good for the fairs. I've just done them for so long I don't do them
The
anymore.
reason I heard about you is because I went to that paint and create, and there was a girl there that her father was driving down 45 and had a heart attack while he was driving. You probably know who I'm talking about once I say that.
Mhm.
I can't remember her name, but she was there when we started talking about it, and that's how I heard about you.
Oh, because I did some work for her.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. That's what I usually get, people that have, yeah. I know who you're talking
I
about.
have a question. These books.
These books.
Why do you want me to quit reading them?
Okay.
Sorry, it's because you got work to do.
Even if just, okay.
Just let me ask my question.
She has questions.
Should I read them or should I stop reading them?
When did you ever start?
She never started.
I was gonna say, what are you talking about? That was
You
still
what?
applying to her.
Do what?
We're getting it straight first.
I want to know.
She's leaving the question open for her, okay?
This is what I think about you. For her, it's not like she has more knowledge or needs it. This is just what she does. She needs to look at concrete stuff, pages in front of her, and read. Because you're a channel or and an empath, most of your stuff gets received on different levels. You don't have to read it in order to understand it. Do you need to read? I don't know. I don't read. I don't read a lot to stay objective, because otherwise people think I know my stuff through books or reading about something. So you don't need to read, but you need to understand things. If you're going to channel and be the channel that you are, then you need to accept that, and you need to start understanding why you're doing it. And if that means picking up a book by, say, Sonia Roman, Open to Channel, or something that has to do with what your abilities are, then I would say to do it. But your information is very earthy-based, self-knowledge, natural type of energy source. So the necessity to read is necessarily there, but you fight things. You know, your energy fights things. You don't. I don't need to do. I don't need to. I don't need. I don't need. And you might be right, but at the same time, there's some pretty neat stuff out there, guidelines you can sit down and help you emotionally. There's some good stuff that can help you
I
emotionally.
think things through. I do not like to read. I don't comprehend when I read things.
That's probably
So
what
I
it is.
tell
You've
him-
had a negative
I
experience
tell
with it.
them,
If you don't
know,
comprehend well, and
I
you didn't
don't-
as a child, it makes it fearful
Neither
for
did
you.
I, but when I started reading the books, it
well, I'm not
flowed.
you. I'm not you.
Well, but you never tried.
I have a question real quick. You were pointing out to me a while ago and said something about age, but then it went somewhere else.
I did?
thought- Yeah, I think
Almost
so.
just channel. What did I say?
I don't know, something about age. You said I'll get back to you on something about age.
Oh, it was age about old soul stuff.
Oh.
You know, you guys have such anchoring energy, and when I say old soul about someone, it doesn't mean like you've had more. It usually means you've had more lives, so you had master level energy. You have master level energy when it comes to spirituality. You know the basic understanding of a lot of things, but you have master level stuff on a lot of things you don't even look at. That you don't pay attention to the fact that you have a superior knowledge when it comes to being an empath or channel or medium or whatever you want to do, but you don't push yourself forward. I could see you out of this whole group being the one doing this kind of work. The two of you both, but you especially. Because you have the empathic knowledge for it. You feel the empathy. Not that everybody else doesn't feel empathetic towards other people, but you have that kind of counselor color around you, and that's usually someone that's really good at helping people understand their path and where they need to be. So that's what I was talking about. You have that knowledge base, that old soul master knowledge base that you could do things like that. And you need to think about it. You need to think about what that means for you. If that's taking a class or something like that. And that would be good for you too, if you don't want to take a class on something so you can be part of the group, be part of a like-minded group, would be good. Something like that you need to do. You would make a great practitioner. You'd be really good at it. Really good at it. Really.
I work at a hospital, so, but
That's the
I do
practitioner.
x-rays and I'm like, look at this and look.
Yeah, you'd be good at it. You'd be good at it. Has something to do with
I
it.
got a question.
Sure.
In some of these books that we've been reading, it pretty much says there is no real hell or whatever.
Right.
It's just different levels of heaven.
Right.
I heard you say something about they'll probably go to hell or you're.
Now, I mean, a lot of people have this, and, you know, totally this is based off my experience, my near-death experiences and what I've gone through. So I have to formulate that based off of what I know. And how I understand it to be is that, and you know, everyone has their own heaven, or what they're going to leave when they leave here, will create for itself. But the way it was always explained to me, or when I've had, my first near-death I was 5, and I've had 2 after that. And every time, the first one was the hardest, because I actually died and came back. And during that time, I think that what was revealed to me was that when we leave here, we have this type of atonement that we make. That if I did something wrong to someone in some point in life, that I will feel that emotional pain that I served on that person. And that's kind of our own personal hell. That we have to go through a series of understandings of the people we put into our lives and make an atonement for whatever we hold ourselves responsible. We've got to hold ourselves responsible and accountable. That's the soul growth. That's how we create our soul growth. So that as we move through these lives and come back, that's our life. You know, that's part of reincarnation and coming back is understanding. You know, that's your bucket list when you leave here. Everyone's real big about what did I do spiritually when I was here, because when I leave, I want to make sure I have all those boxes checked. When the reality is, it's what you did as a human. Because whatever you do as a human is what creates your soul growth, not what you do spiritually. Spirituality is important, that's the end result. But what did you do as a human to create that spiritual growth? You know what I'm saying? So when we leave here, we go, oh, I created that in my life as a human, therefore I learned this. I came to a session and I learned that as a human you have to create so that the soul will grow. So when you leave here, you experience those things and understandings. And I believe, or how I feel like it is that's the atonement process that we make, just like he's going to do. You know, that's part of his fear. I'm telling you, that's part of his fear, is that when he moves into that atonement phase, he's going to have to hold himself accountable, but he's going to be held accountable. Not in a bad way, just an understanding. Like if I hurt someone, I'm going to feel how they felt at that moment that I hurt them.
For how long?
I don't know. There was never a time clock. I don't know.
Right, forever.
I think it's so
ever,
instantaneous.
torture.
It's just instantaneous understanding, you know, of how that feeling is.
Well, supposedly time is non-existent.
It's not. It's like him being gone 15 years. Okay.
You don't
I don't
seem
mean
like it
anything.
to
I mean, I've seen people that were gone 50 and 60 years that don't know they're gone. So there's actually, you know what, speaking of books, there's a really good book called Saved by the Light by Daniel Brinkley.
Read it.
That's why I'm probably hearing it.
I
That's
think I got
probably
that
one of the best books that was ever written, and Daniel is a great guy. If you ever get a chance to see him, I met him back in the early 90s. And he's just probably one of the best people to read about, because he was a jerk. I mean, he was a jerk. He was not a nice person. You know, he killed a lot of people. You know, he was a sniper. That's what he did. And when he died, he had to look at all of that. He had to look at all the pain he had when he killed someone. Their family felt, how they're, the whole thing, and understand that. And what is he doing now? He builds hospice beds for people, you know, to help them cross over. That's what he does. And so he knows. He'll never touch you. If you ever go to see him speak, he won't touch you, because instantly, that's his curse. He knows what's going to happen, when it's going to happen, and how it's going to happen to you. Exactly. I mean, that's what was given to him as his gift. And he's out in North Carolina still, I think. And his book is one of the best. I always refer to his stuff because it's real. You know, this isn't Betty Eadie stuff or people like that. And I've never done any books on my near-death, because I don't think that not that they don't mean anything, but his stuff is very human. It's like, you mean if I'm a real ass, I can still go to hell?